Warm welcome to everybody all over the world to this webinar where we are going to introduce the new Ponsse firefighting equipment. Quite interesting product for many markets, I'm sure, and the feedback has been positive so far. My name is Antti Räsänen. I'm a training manager for sales here at Ponsse. I'm presenting from Vieremä, where our headquarters is, and my co-pilot today is Esko Havimäki, product training manager.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Yes.
And idea is that whenever you have questions or comments, please I'll go here. You can write them into the Q&A of the live event, and we will answer them as soon as possible in written or in spoken, whichever way fits better for the question and the webinar. We will record this, so the webinar will be available for viewing also afterwards. Like I said, broadcasted from Vieremä, Finland, and it's a live webinar, live broadcast. About the company, Ponsse PLC, we are founded 50 years ago. Actually, this is our 50th anniversary. I will shut my camera at this point so you will get the full focus. 50-year-old company, and through all the history we have focused only on CTL forest machinery. That's all we do, and that's where we excel. We are one of the biggest CTL machine manufacturers in the world, actually. So big influence. We operate in about 40 countries worldwide. Wherever there is industrial logging, we are pretty much there. Service, sales, manufacturing, and all kinds of technology related to CTL forest machines and services. So that's our background. Product range covers harvesters. You can see on the left hand side, wide range of harvester models. I will change to laser pointer here. Then forwarders, harvester heads, and also a big selection of computer applications and software products for different kinds of use. That's obviously important in the modern world to support also information technology. Then the actual topic, Ponsse firefighting equipment. Basically, we're talking about forward-mounted fire suppression device that utilizes the excellent features of a Ponsse forwarder. So we're mounting this external firefighting equipment on standard forwarder. The design has been done in close cooperation with local Department of Emergency Services, so firefighters here in Finland, and actually the idea came from there that they would need something to tackle the problem of fighting the wildfires in forest in difficult terrains. And here we have the solution now. So basic idea is that the water tank, pump, and water cannon unit is lifted on the load space of a forwarder with its own loader, and then of course fastened securely. Then electric and hydraulic quick couplings are connected, and then the machine is ready to work. The idea of operating the system is that the firefighter uses the equipment with a remote control, while a professional forwarder operator focuses only in driving the machine. So both functions are done with a professional and by a professional. And they communicate with each other with a radio phone. So that's of course important to have that constant communication between them. And this equipment also allows simultaneous use of water cannon and hose, or actually even two hoses. So there can be even 2 or 3 firefighters working at the same time, one operating the water cannon, very powerful water cannon, and then 1 or 2 with the hoses. So you can really fight the fire effectively. Main components are listed here. We have the water tank over here, big tank, and that's transported in steel rack, transport rack over here. So hook lift truck is the easiest method of transporting this. You place the tank on top of the rack, and then you can lift it on top of a truck low bed and transport it wherever it needs to go. We have water spray pump down here in the back of the unit, supplying water for the water cannon and the hoses when they are used. Then we have the water cannon, purpose-built water cannon for firefighting on top of this unit, and that has a hydraulically operated shut-off valve, so you can control if there's water going to the cannon or not, or are you maybe only using the hoses. Refill water pump is D down here, and that's lifted on the water source with the loader of the forwarder, and it pumps the water into the tank. Then we have hydraulic valve block, so all the functions of this unit, of this system, is hydraulically operated, and the functions are controlled with this valve block in the back of the tank. And under that we have the control unit, and then the remote control, which is connected to the control unit. And the control unit obviously controls the hydraulic block functions. And finally, we have a wireless reversing camera and display. So camera is mounted in the back of the tank so that you can see what's behind the machine. That's a safety feature, obviously, when you're driving reverse. But it's also easier to lower the grapple. There's a steel bar where you hook the grapple when you're driving in the terrain. So you can see that also. So it's easy to grab that with your grapple.
Sorry, Antti, this again, this question can be asked using question and answer function of the webinar. This is what we needed to say.
Yeah, that's important. There's Q&A, and please, you can add questions there, and we will answer them as soon as possible. Good point. Available base machines for the unit is Ponsse Buffalo, Buffalo King, Buffalo Active Frame, obviously, so all the models of Ponsse Buffalo, and then Elephant and Elephant King, including all the optional models, Active Frame, and so on. Loader minimum is Ponsse K90 Plus, or suitable also for the older Ponsse K90 loader or bigger one. So you need enough power to lift it on top of the load space. Hydraulic system requirements: oil flow minimum 100 liters per minute or 26.5 gallons per minute. Pressure minimum 235 bar or 3,410 psi. And the minimum load space width is 2.76 meters or 108 inches. So that's the minimum load space of Buffalo. So it fits all the different optional load spaces. Esko, if you have any comments, please fill in whenever you need. And we're not.
Sorry. Now I have a in voice. Yes, the bison. We not see the bison of the list, and the reason is because the bison, we have a different type of hydraulic system, and needs to be checker first, and our R&D make work for that side all the time. Maybe a little bit later we have possible to install with Python 2, but not yet today. And of course the hydraulic system, we will know the forwarder. We have a very powerful hydraulic system, because we see the minimum flow is like 100 liter per minute. But example Buffalo, we have a 190 centicubic hydraulic pump, and this means with the engine idle, the pump gives 170 liters oil flow. It's very powerful. And of course the We will see the questions, and here is the answer for that. The equipment is sold so far only Ponsse machines, because we don't know other brands, forward race, cabin, ropes and certification, and of course we don't really know what type of hydraulics they have, and today this is only available in Ponsse machines.
Yes, exactly. So and actually one limitation is also the forwarder lifting capacity. So as many, at least our customers know, Ponsse has really powerful loaders, and we cannot be sure that other brand forwarders can lift the tank. It's relatively heavy anyway, so you need to have a powerful enough loader to be able to operate it, to lift it on top of the load space. So that's also one limitation that we just cannot guarantee with other brands. Good, very good comments. Here's some technical data. So dimensions, length is a little bit over 5 meters, width 2.25 meters, height 2.2 meters, and the same in inches, 203 inches long, 89 inches wide, and 87 inches high. Weight is approximately 1,500 kilos or 3,300 pounds, including all the components that there are. And the volume is 10,000 liters, 2,640 gallons, so quite large capacity tank we are talking here. Transport rack weighs about 1,100 kilos or 2,425 pounds. So there's the specifications, and here you can see some of the components and pictures of the unit. For example, the water cannon on top, rear top left corner of the system. Connections to the base machine, basically you just connect 3 hydraulic hoses and 1 electric coupling, so it's really easy and quick. It needs this coupling set to be mounted in the machine, and this is on top of the hydraulic oil tank behind the cabin under the hatch of the forwarder front frame. So there is basically a pressure line, return line, and load sensing signal line connectors mounted into the machine, and then electric connector down here. It's taking just the voltage from the base machine. And this is readiness. There's a kit available from the factory as an option to a forwarder. So when you're ordering a new forwarder, you can order it with this readiness. So it will have all the connectors needed for the firefighting equipment. Or to existing machines, you can buy a kit from Ponsse spare parts. So it's easy to mount that kit, and then very easy and fast to attach the unit. It takes approximately, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes to mount the tank and connect it to the hydraulics and electrics, and then it's ready to work. Like I said, capacity of the tank is 10,000 liters. It's built out of lightweight aluminium, so it's possible to lift it on load space with the own loader of the forwarder. Needs obviously some lifting power, but we have it in Ponsse K90, which is the smallest loader you can get in the Buffalo. So with the Buffalo, you will be okay. This is like a special aluminium. It can withstand the chemicals and even salt water, seawater, if you're using that. So there's different qualities of aluminium, and this is one of the good ones. Reinforced with the baffle plates / reinforcement plates from inside, so it makes the structure significantly stronger. And also when you're driving with that huge amount of water in uneven terrain, it's good to have the baffle plate so that the water is not moving around and splashing around in the tank, causing swaying and stresses for the system. The water refill hose is led into the big opening in the right side of the tank top. And there's a steel mesh. I have a better picture of that coming later. So it's screening out the biggest trash, moss or stuff like that. Here we have a picture in the bottom right corner. There's big gaps or big openings on both sides of the tank for refilling. There might be other methods of refilling the tank also occasionally, so therefore it's good to have these big openings. But the built-in refill pump uses, there's a pipe coming in over here to the right side gap, and there's a steel grid or steel mesh screening out the bigger junk. Can be drained empty through valve in the rear, down here, the yellow one. So there's a big tap. You can open it and drain the tank empty when it's needed, for example, for transportation, or maybe you're cleaning it. It can be flushed clean by opening the screening grid over here and then just spray it with water, hose it clean with water, and open the tap and let the impurities, dirty water, flow out. And when the equipment is stored, it's good to cover the openings on the top with some cover, maybe plywood or whatever means, so that there's no impurities going into the tank during the storing, especially if you're storing it outside. It would be really advised to close the hatches. Then the spray pump. This is the pump that's spraying the water into the water cannon and to the hoses if those are used. Built in Finland by Reini company, model PP3 centrifugal impeller pump. Maximum flow is 950 liters per minute, 250 gallons per minute, and maximum pressure is 14 bar, but typically we use lower pressure depending on the water cannon nozzle setting, what it causes. And the pump is run by hydraulic motor that takes power from loader hydraulics, so we have very, very powerful hydraulics backing up the operation. It's Parker F11 series 10 cubic centimeter piston motor, very widely used, robust, really powerful motor used, for example, in harvester saw units. Pressure maximum is 350 bars or 5080 psi. We are using loader pumps, maximum pressure 265 or 3840 psi. And oil flow maximum is 102 liters per minute, 27 gallons per minute. So easily enough in the forwarder that we are using. And the spray pump is corrosion resistant, so you can use seawater, salt water, or the typical chemicals that might be used for firefighting. When it's not in use, it's important to protect the pump from freezing, so there is good instructions in user manual for doing that.
Yes, sorry, and it is a little bit more information for the spray pump, because the pump is very, very powerful, and the possible to use water cannon and two hoses at the same time, and water enough increase the pressure and the works very, very well. And this means, of course, needs powerful hydraulic power with the forwarder, but of course the hydraulic motor what we used this pump is very powerful too.
Yes, yes. Then the water cannon, like I said earlier, it's purpose-built for firefighting. Hydraulically controlled TR75 SHK, also built here in Finland. High quality pump, and all the functions except the choke in the nozzle, everything else is operated hydraulically with a remote control. So we have hydraulic actuators for turning and the elevation angle of the water cannon, as well as the nozzle setting, so you can spread the spray form from point jet to mist function with the remote control. So basically you can do everything that's needed in the normal firefighting work with the remote control.
Yeah, if you on this show your pointer, it is rotating hydraulics and the heights hydraulics.
So here is the actuator for rotation, and then here for elevating up and down the nozzle, and then this one for adjusting the nozzle for different forms of the jet or the spray. And then I will show in the coming pages the nozzle setting, the choker, but depending on that position, the spray range of water has been in our tests between 35 and 47 meters, so 38 to 51 yards, so very long range that you can reach with the point spray. So you can really effectively use this from clear distance from the fire, staying safe almost 50 meters away. And also the water cannon is corrosion resistant, so you can use seawater or different chemicals, like the tank and the pumps. The nozzle setting that's hydraulically operated that sets the form. This is the idea. So point jet obviously reaches much longer distance, and then the spray like this, like a mist setting, you can create a for example, protective mist to protect it from the heat of the fire. And here's the nozzle choke. So there's 3 different positions. You can see here it says the settings liters per minute and gallons per minute for every setting. That's making the choke narrower or wider, and of course that affects the pressure of the water flowing out, and that way it affects the range, but also the amount. So smaller amount of water, but longer reach with a tighter choke, and then more water with a little bit less range with a wider choke.
And this left picture shows very well. If you go back these spraying areas, and if spraying very close to machine, this means like a water wall between the fire and the machine, and this works like decrease the temperature near of the machine very well.
Yeah. For example, in this picture, if the fire is here in the left, it makes like a curtain of water under the spray. So even if you're using the point spray, it's still there's water falling basically and forming this curtain, and that's protecting the machine and the operators from the heat. Very good point. Then refilling, maybe the most typical way of refilling is with the own built-in refill pump, manufactured by Reini Model S1, powered by the base machine work hydraulics like the spray pump also. Filling takes about 7 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes, depending on the height, even though the maximum flow in optimal conditions of the pump is 3,000 liters per minute, and we have 10,000 liter tank, but it's always the length of the hose and the lifting height of water that affects. So in normal conditions, it's been about 6 to 7 minutes. You can refill it from natural water source like lake or pond or river, spring, whatever there's available. Or of course, we'll show later if you supply water in different kinds of tanks or trucks. There's a lifting bar for the pump, so you lift it in the water source with the grapple and the loader of the forwarder. It's a submersible centrifugal pump run with a hydraulic motor, and this pump is actually quite insensitive for impurities, mud, or even sand. They go through it really well. It's actually the same pump is also used for dredging, so pumping the soil from the bottom of water, so it can really do it. But in this operation, it's advisable to hold it a little bit clear from the bottom with the loader. It's really easy to adjust the height with the loader, so you can lower it and find the bottom and lift it up a little bit so that it's not sucking the impurities and the dirt from the bottom of the water. So that of course keeps the water cleaner and protects the spray pump.
Yes, and one point of safety side, it's very important. Remember this firefighter or other person who is near of the machine. we need 20 meters distance, minimum 20 meter safety distance between the machine and the person who is the outside of the machine.
Yes, it says so also in the loader side of the loader here, the safety distance, and that's of course important for safety of the firefighting personnel or anybody else when you're lifting it like this. And yeah, I just happened to notice there was a question about the yellow bar. So these handlebars on both sides of the tank, this is for lifting the whole tank with the loader and the grapple.
Yeah.
And here in the back of the tank, there's a black plastic container where you can stow the pump and the hose when it's not in use, and from there you lift it with the grapple and place it in the water. Obviously, quick coupling for the hose on the back side of the tank over here, where you connect the hose for refilling. And then there's a strainer basket in bottom of you can barely see it from this picture, in the bottom of the pump. So this is protecting the impurities and the sand and mud from entering the input hose and the pump. But like I said earlier, it's still good to hold it away from the bottom, and it's easy to do so with the loader. Also, this pump obviously is corrosion resistant, so it's insensitive for seawater or chemicals. The other possibility is, of course, to refill from a tank. So you can bring water to the fire site with a fire engine or any other tanker, or of course you can also lower tanks, place them in the ground. So it's possible to refill this also with the pump of the fire engine. Then you just connect the hose to the refill connector in the back and then pump the water in. It's good to understand that the refill is quite fast, and then driving even in difficult terrains, it's fast with this kind of special equipment. We have a machine that's purposely built for effective driving in all kinds of terrains. And then the spray pump is very effective. So especially if you're using both the cannon and one or two hoses, the emptying the tank is really fast also. It might take only 10 minutes. So we could have a cycle of only, let's say, 30 minutes of emptying 10,000 cubic liters of water. So then in very intensive use, you really need a lot of water supply available if you want to be effective. So if there is no natural water source, you need a lot of water transported to the site to fully utilize the capacity of this system. Hydraulic valve, again in the back of the tank, in the rear, directional valve block to control the fire suppression system functions. All of them are operated hydraulically. It's a Parker L90 load sensing 7-spool valve block with individual maximum pressure settings for all the functions. And pressure, tank and load sensing lines are connected to keep quick couplings in the base machine, and then electric connection too, and that's all the connections needed. Obviously the tank is tied to the base machine with a steel chain, so it's secured into the load space that way. And the hydraulic connectors, they are impossible to connect wrong because the pressure and tank lines are the opposite way around, the male and female connectors, and then the load sensing line connectors is smaller, so there's only one way you can connect these. And then the control module, which is located right under the valve block to minimize the wiring. So it's basically reliability thing right there. This unit controls all the functions of the system, so the hydraulic functions. Manufactured by Teleradio, it's a Swedish manufacturer, powered by the base machine 24-volt electric system. Well protected inside the casing, as you can see here. And then the remote control, same manufacturer, Teleradio, Swedish built, really simple and easy to use. You have a strap, you can hook it around your neck and then hang it in front of you and operate it with both hands. And switches are here for this knob for refill pump, then spray pump, and those are like turnable knobs, so you can adjust steplessly the flow of the pumps. Then there's like a joystick, you can see better from this picture, for aiming the water cannon. Really easy and logical. Then nozzle adjusting with 2 buttons in the end. Water valve control with this one here. So this shuts the valve or opens it to the water cannon. Stop button in the end, so you can stop the whole system with this main switch over here. And then you have a small display showing the status of connection and the battery and so on in front of the unit. Operates in 2.4 gigahertz frequency, the same like a Wi-Fi, basically like a Wi-Fi connection. Range is 100 meters, and there's a rechargeable and changeable battery. It's really easy to change a new battery. The manufacturer has estimated that in intensive use, non-stop use, basically the battery lasts about up to 8 hours. So it's really long operating battery. The remote control and the control unit, so the base machine unit, they are paired, like you pair, for example, your smartphone with your car, for example, so that if there's another similar system, remote control, used in the same area, in a close area, they don't affect each other. So you can operate number of Ponsse firefighting equipment remote controls in the same area, and they don't interfere each other. If there is a lot of radio traffic in the same frequency in the area, like a strong broadcast all the time in the same frequency, compromising this communication, then the system would automatically shut itself down. But this is really untypical or improbable event. But there is a safety feature for that also. Like I said, the battery lasts up to 8 hours in intensive use, and the status is shown in the display. So the operator, the firefighter, can see the situation, and you can quickly change the battery when needed. Then the final component, the reversing camera. It's a wireless unit, and the camera is behind the tank, like I said, so that you can see what's behind the machine. That's also an important safety feature. The firefighter is walking on the ground around the machine, so it's really important that the machine operator sees if there is somebody behind the tank. It also makes it easier to grab the grapple in this yellow steel bar here. So when you're driving with the machine, you should hook it there so the crane or the loader stays in the transport position nicely and firmly. Inside the cabin, the display is mounted with a suction cup, for example, in the window of the cabin. There's a good clear image for the operator. And this is, of course, safety feature along with the radio phone connection, walkie-talkie connection between the operator of the machine and the firefighter. The okay, user case, like, sorry,
Antti,
yes.
And sorry, this cabin, we needed to remember this. We have this safety cabin, but only one person.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. This is a user case or example of use, and this is how it's done in Finland. And this tank has actually been, or equipment has actually been in operational use already last summer here in Finland in the forest fire. And how it goes here is that the fire department owns the firefighting equipment, and they store them in different locations around the country on the transport rack, ready to work. And then the fire department contracts local logging contractors who own appropriate Ponsse forwarders, buffaloes or bigger ones. And whenever firefighting equipment is needed, The tank is transported to the area by the fire department, and the forwarder is transported to the same place by the logging contractor. He lifts the tank up, fastens it with the chains, hooks up the hydraulics and electrics, fills the tank, and it's ready to work. That's basically the idea. And it's always so that professional firefighters, trained firefighters, are responsible for the use of the firefighting equipment. And on the other hand, a professional forwarder operator is driving the machine. So he knows in what kind of places he can drive, what are the features and requirements of the machine when you're driving with heavy machine loaded with a heavy water tank. So professional is running both operations, communicating with each other with the radio phones, and that's really effective way. And like you can see in the picture, probably the most effective and easy way to transport is with a hook lift truck. Quite typical, at least here in Finland and many other countries. You have these available, but of course you can use other kinds of trucks systems to load it up also. Where you can contact us and our representatives around the world. We, like I said earlier in the first page, we operate in more than 40 countries worldwide. So if you go to www.ponsse.com, open contacts and then contacts on map, there you can find the whole world and zoom into whichever part of the world you might be in. This is only part of the world. I zoomed the map a little bit just to clarify it, but wherever you might be, you will find the nearest Ponsse rep from our website. So, and also there's videos and more information available here in ponsse.com pages.
Yes, and in different countries, it's important to find out the local laws and requirements for the when using this kind of system, because this is the most important thing too.
Yes, very good. Okay, I think we have some questions, some comments in the Q&A. So that's good to read also those from there, from the teams. And like I said, more information can be found in the web. Please contact your local Ponsse representative. They will be more than happy to tell you more about it. Videos in YouTube also available. So, and also, of course, questions can keep coming through the Q&A or to the Ponsse network. At this point, I would like to thank everybody for attendance. Really, I hope you got interesting and good information about the Ponsse firefighting equipment. Thank you.
Thank you for everyone.